All right, now one other great thing that you can do with Google Sheets is formatting. And I know a lot of us know about formatting, but I want to show you some specific ways that we can format our data. So as you see here in column A, I have A equals blue, B is green, C is yellow, D is orange, and F is red. But what if I maybe type another A right there? Ah, it automatically turned blue. How did it know? Well, this is something called conditional formatting. So what I'm going to do is come up here into your format menu in the menu bar, come down to conditional formatting, and over on the right side, you can see the conditions that I've set up. If the text contains A, make it blue. So we're going to add a new rule. Now, the problem with text contains A is what if I type the word, say, apple? That has an A in it, so it would turn blue as well. So instead of that, I'm going to apply this to A colon A. So this is the entire range, the entire column of A, from the beginning to the end. Now here you see this drop-down menu, format cells if the cell is not empty. Now originally I had text contains as my chosen one, but I actually want to choose text is exactly, and I'm going to say A. If it is exactly an A, I'm going to just see if this works because I have two rules applied right now. And I'm going to make my text, I'll make this white, and the fill I'm going to make this magenta color. I'm going to make it nice and bold too. I can always add another rule if I want, but I'm going to click that I'm done. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to tap the letter A. It still turns blue. What if I type the word apple? That turns blue as well. So if I want it to be actually pink, I'm going to trash this original one. If I want my A to be hot pink, but not if there's actually like the word like apple right there, there's an A in apple. Notice what happens over here. If it's only A, it turns hot pink, but if it has a word in there like apple, it doesn't apply that condition to it because I need it to be exactly the letter A to change. How can you use this? Well, think about it. A lot of our grade books might do this. If students are getting under a certain percentage or a certain letter grade, it turns a certain color to direct our attention. I'm going to add a new rule. And I'm going to say, okay, this is A to A. Format cells if. Let's dig around a little bit more. If cell is empty, well, if a student didn't turn in a certain project, you didn't give them a grade, maybe it turns a certain color, maybe it turns black. Date is before, date is after. If something shows up late, perhaps a permission slip or something like that, if it was turned in after a certain date, we're alerted to a certain color. Greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. So if it's less than, say, 72% and the student doesn't really seem to get it, maybe it turns a certain color. So these are ways we can use conditional formatting. Pretty nice stuff. So here I'm going to apply this maybe on my allowance. In my hypothetical scenario, anything that I get from my allowance that is, say, under $20, I'm just going to be able to go out and spend. But if it's more, I'm going to put that into my savings account. So I'm going to click on the heading of E right there. So the entire column is highlighted. Format, conditional formatting. And I'm going to format cells if. If it is greater than or equal to $20, I'm going to say I want it to become blue with, say, white text. Done. So now, at a glance, I can see that just with a little bit of arithmetic in my head, I can spend $24, but the rest of this is going to be going into my bank account. One other thing that's similar to formatting, but it's a little bit different. It's called, in the data menu, we're going to do something called data validation. You can actually add a drop-down menu to some spreadsheets. So I'm going to say, instead of list from a range, I'm going to say list of items. And maybe I want someone in the spreadsheet to choose, oh, I don't know, their favorite lunch. So I'm going to type taco, comma, no space here, burger, comma, hot dog, comma, pizza, comma, sushi. Show drop-down list in cell. If they try to choose something else, maybe I would want salad. Well, on invalid data, you can either say, hey, you chose a salad, but that's not what we're offering, or reject input. They're not allowed to type anything else unless it's taco, burger, hot dog, pizza, or sushi. So I'm going to click save. And this is applying to the entire, I'm going to say F colon F. So it's the entire column of F right there. I click save. And now you see I have my drop-down menus. Taco, burger, hot dog, pizza, or sushi. I'm going to choose pizza for this one. Taco. This might be a good thing sometimes. But one thing is, if you're typing the same stuff over and over again, if you remember from the data entry lesson, if I type the word hot dog, enter, and then I type H again, well, notice it shows up for me again. I hit enter, and it shows up. Burger, enter, but burger, H, hot dog. So if you're trying to be fast, a drop-down menu in data validation might not be the most effective use, but there are times when you might want to use this. All right, so 2 little bits about formatting. A few other things that I just want to show you just to make your spreadsheets look nice. If I want to resize some of my columns, if I want to do all of them at the same time, well, let me just show you the first one. If I just want to resize column A, I highlight it, and then I put my mouse pointer right over there, and I can click and drag and make that wider. Sure, okay. But if I want to make a bunch of them that wide, I highlight all of them, click and drag, and it looks like I'm just affecting column B. But watch what happens when I let go. It applied that to all of the columns that I had suggested or selected. Now, column E, boy, I don't want it to be that big. I'm going to click out of there, and I want column E to be only as wide as it needs to be. There's a little too much space here. So what I can do is double click right there. Watch what happens. It shrinks it to just as wide as it needs to be for the word allowance to fit in there. Let me do it with column F. Double click, double click. All right, let's look at column A, double click, and they're only as wide as they need to be. Great. If I want to rearrange these, I can always right click and delete the column, bink, and now that one's gone. Or if I don't want to delete the column, and notice, by the way, it renamed everything here. If you have any functions that are tied to certain column names, don't worry. If you delete a column intentionally, it will rename all of your columns and update the functions, which is a really nice feature. If I want to move column D, I click, hold, and I can drag it over here. Pretty good. I'm going to click column E, click, hold, drag it over there. So instead of deleting columns, I'm just rearranging. Same thing goes here. If I've got functions that are attached to certain column names, when I move them, all of the functions get updated so the math doesn't change, which is a really, really nice feature right there.